Hi, Grove Church family. My story of 2021 actually starts on this day, on December 23rd of 2020, when my brother called me from my hometown and said things were not going well with my mom. Her husband was making some decisions about how the house needed to be that were making it unsafe for her. If you want to know particulars, ask me later. But anyway, that led to my mom at first denying things, and then finally February, March, her health started to get bad enough that she ended up in the ER. Easter Day, don't remember much about the service because I spent it mostly in prayer because they were confronting my mom's husband about the house situation, how it wasn't good. That conversation went okay, but it did not lead to reconciliation. Instead, he chose his path and not anything that would be good for her as well. So that led to her moving out, a divorce. At any rate, the prayer through it all between me and my brother and my mom, our families, was, please, Lord, help us protect my mom and help us to love each other through all of this. And it's been very difficult. I fought with my mom. I fought with my brother. My brother's fought with me. My mom has fought with my brother. But we have respected and we have been humble towards each other, and God has led us through, and we are enjoying a Christmas dinner with each other. Not an awkward one, but one of love and respect. Merry Christmas.
Emmanuel has been a word that I've been focusing on through Advent, and what exactly does that mean? And I think that it has allowed me to be able to lead in this position with as much grace as possible. Like the height of the frustration of the major changes that the district went through in October was a very trying time. And there were moments where I was like, I don't have any patience left. I don't have any grace left. I don't have name a fruit of the Spirit, and it's gone right now. But I was able to remember that we can draw on a source that never runs out. And as cliche as that might sound, it was very real for me in the kind of beginnings of this semester, transitioning back. Like how can you be in a position where people look to you to, like, are you going to keep us safe? Are we okay? What's next? Having to lead people, lead adults and children through what still feels a bit uncertain. I feel like for me can really only come from the fact that I have that firm foundation and knowing that God is with me through that even if I take a wrong turn, he can redeem that to be a right one in the end. So it has been, it's been the foundation of leadership for me, especially in the last year and a half.
This past summer in July, I thought I had a cornea scratch on my eye from getting sand in my contact. And after about a week, it didn't really get better. And so I was sent to a cornea specialist, and we narrowed it down to being either a bacterial ulcer or an acathamoebic ulcer. And so we treated the bacterial ulcer, and it wasn't really getting better. So then I was sent to Atlanta because they had better resources and a microscope that could take pictures of the inside of my eye. And so we confirmed that it was a acathamoebic corneal ulcer. And my faith was greatly tested through this season, but ultimately grew a lot stronger through this and the experiences that I got out of this. And also, my perspective changed greatly because I hadn't really been through anything this personal before, and I just felt like I grew a lot through it and learned a lot about myself. And also, I had great family and friends that were supporting me throughout, and prayers and thoughts and texts and everything in terms of that. But ultimately, I had to put the situation into God's hands, and he delivered me through it.
As I reflect upon my spiritual journey over the last 20 months or so, I'm quickly reminded of how gracious God has been and how he continues to be faithful in all circumstances. In March of 2020, during COVID, we went through a horrible custody battle with my ex-husband that resulted in 10 long weeks of being separated from my sons. He was using the pandemic as a reason to not return them. However, because of his abusive history and also threats of not returning them home before, we knew the journey was going to be long. I would love to say that journey had ended. However, on November 26th, while the boys are at their father's for their Thanksgiving break, I again received a text message the night before our exchange explaining to me that he was not going to return them home. He's using false allegations that have been previously dismissed in courts as his reason to not return them. It's during this time, however, that God has remained faithful. He has sustained us in March 2020 and continues to sustain us now. God is using this tragic situation as a way to increase my faith and to be stretched in ways making me stronger and better. As my faith has increased, so has my prayer life, an area of which I struggled. And although He has not allowed me to speak or see my sins since November 26th, I continue to keep my eyes fixed upon God and not on the circumstances. God is using this waiting room time as an opportunity to shore me up for something that He has predestined me to do. I heard a quote the other day and I love it. God does not use people greatly until He has tested them deeply. As I record this message, I know in my heart it's likely I will not spend Christmas with my sons due to the courts being prolonged. However, I'm being reminded that I'm not to put God in a box or limit Him to my ways. So as we celebrate Christmas with friends and family, may we be reminded that the gift for us did not come in a box under the tree, but rather it came by way of being nailed to the tree. Thank Him today in the valley. Thank Him today from the mountaintop, for He is worthy. In the midst of trials and tragedies, keep our eyes fixed on Him and ask Him to increase our faith. Isaiah 41:13 says, "For the Lord your God holds your right hand, and He says, 'Fear not, I am the one who helps you.'"
Hello, I'm Jeff Burton,
And I'm Leah Burton.
and we're here to talk to you a little bit about peaks and valleys in our lives over the last 18 months.
And I think most everybody here knows our story over the last 15 months and Jeff's struggle with COVID and how we have literally lived reliant on the Lord 100% for every breath that He took, for every breath that we took, and how the Lord was there every step of the way. We were never without the Lord. And the Lord showed off in the form of doctors and nurses who took wonderful care of Him, a family that came together and bonded and loved each other through this, a host of friends who didn't ask, what can I do? They just did. They knew what we needed. They met every need before we knew we were going to need it. And we're just so grateful and thankful to be on this side of things and be able to spend this Christmas together.
And just be sure that, you trust in the Lord. Have faith and hope in the valleys and at the peaks. Because when you look back, you'll see that He has a hand in everything in your life. And we just want everybody to know that. And have a Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.